Hello, everyone. I'm back already. The next book I read, The Stranger, that went by really quickly. So I'm at it again, making another recording. I only finished it in 2 days, and frankly, it was short enough. I could have finished it in one day if I really, pushed myself. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit about it. Um, anyway, I think I mentioned in the last recording. Um, the Stranger was a recommendation from my brother. He mailed me his copy. I went into reading this pure. I knew zero about the book, aside from it was written by a Frenchman, and that, for whatever reason, it was a big deal in terms of literature. And it's hard to even know where to start. I kind of want to jump to the end, but at the same time, I don't want to ignore all of the build up to it. As a person who knew nothing of the book, I was very confused as I read it. Like I said, it's a short book. It's broken up into two sections that are, roughly half each. In the first section, the stranger feels like it's going nowhere. We, the readers, are learning about the main character. And by the way, I don't know French, so I might butcher this, but the main character, Mersault, we're learning about his life. His mother dies. He meets and hooks up with a girl. We learn about his neighbors and all their little quirks. Throughout these slices of life, we're also learning about Mersault, how he thinks, his attitude toward living. Now, a little bit of a tangent. Do any of you listening remember the movie Garden State? I kept being reminded of that movie throughout section one. For you young Zoomers out there in the audience who don't know what I'm talking about, Garden State was a sucky movie from, I think, around 2005, or, plus or minus there, starring Zach Braff. Yep, once upon a time, that guy from Scrubs was actually getting starring movie roles. Well, anyway, Scrubs played a character who was essentially dead inside. He drifted through everything with no direction in life or any kind of passion. Then he falls in love with Natalie Portman, and she gives him new life. Ugh, rom-coms. But anyway, I bring up this terrible movie because Mersault reminded me a lot of this guy. Mersault feels nothing and says very little. His mom dies, but he treats it like a bother. He starts dating that girl Marie, and she asks him if he will marry her, and he says it doesn't matter either way. There's nothing like, excitement or fear or feeling flattered by this. It's just, the prospect of marriage is just whatever. Actually, also, I'm thinking a little bit about it now. Mersault kind of reminds me of Seinfeld, too, but without any of the comedy. Anyway, it was very confusing to me as a reader, because I just had no idea where the story was going. Yet I still enjoyed it. Camus created such a rich, interesting world there in mid-20th century Algiers with his writing. The descriptions of all these characters in Mersault's life was engaging. It was actually a page-turner. Typically, I just aim to read, one or two chapters a night, but I read all of section one on the first night. Really, I still didn't know what the story was going to be about until I got to the last page of section one. There, you have a murder, and section two of the book is all about the trial. It's very different, and I see why this book is broken up into two sections. In section 2, you spend more time in Mersault's head and less with the rich descriptions of the scenery or the characters that you had in section 1. Section 2 is all about how Mersault perceives the trial process. And to talk about the trial, now since I'm not French, perhaps this went over my head, but as I read it, I had to wonder if Camus was mocking French justice. It just seems so over the top. The prosecutor's case was built entirely around Mersault not showing regret or sadness at his mother's death. because he lacked the proper emotions with his mother's death, he was guilty of premeditated murder. Was Camus pointing out the absurdity of such an emotions-driven judicial system? Was this an accurate portrayal of a French trial? I don't know. In the end, Mersault finally has an emotional outburst directed at a priest. I guess it's a cathartic release for him, as this priest has pushed him into having real emotions, which he's largely dead to for the book. But simultaneously, this outburst only confirms for Mersault that everything is pointless and nothing matters. The Stranger is a powerful book. I just finished it reading it, just a few hours ago, but I'm still meditating on what it meant. Mersault, to me, seems like a rejection of society. He never exhibits ambition, desire, excitement. He eschews all the normal feelings and drives a person is expected to have. But in the end, he is destroyed by the society he rejects. Society condemns him for not playing the part he's supposed to. And maybe the lesson here is that no one can actually reject society and expect to survive. Great book, though. It's an absolute recommend for everyone. It's something that everyone is going to take their own meaning from. And I guess that's it for me. Not sure what I'm reading next. I have 2 weeks until I take another trip, and I didn't want to have to carry a physical book with me on it. I wanted to just take my what you would call it, my Paperwhite on it on the trip. But I don't know. I don't know if I start something, will I end up finishing it before the trip? And I know the 3 physical books I have to read, they're too long to finish in just 2 weeks, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Whatever. I'll figure something out. But anyway, hey, like, comment, subscribe, because that's the thing you're supposed to do around here. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all reading something you like. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And, don't be too harsh on how I'm sure I'm pronouncing Mersault's name wrong. But, alright, bye everyone.